Welcome to Nerdy Dives. Today we are diving into Open Knowledge Format, a tiny draft spec for turning organizational knowledge into files agents can actually use. AI agents do not need another portal. They need knowledge that travels like code. That is the promise behind Open Knowledge Format, or OKF, a tiny draft spec for turning messy organizational context into files that humans can read, agents can parse, and teams can review in Git. The problem is not that models are too weak to answer useful questions. Often the problem is that the answer is smeared across 5 systems. A table schema is in the catalog. The business meaning of a metric is in a wiki. The join rule is in an old notebook. The incident runbook is in a drive. The reason nobody should use the deprecated API is in one engineer's head. OKF says, do not solve that with another closed surface. Solve it with a format. In version 0.1, a knowledge bundle is just a directory tree of markdown files with YAML frontmatter. No required SDK, no central registry, no special runtime. If you can clone a repo and open a markdown file, you can inspect the knowledge. The unit of distribution is the bundle. Think of it as a small repository of knowledge. The folders can be organized however the producer wants. Datasets, tables, metrics, playbooks, APIs, references, anything. OKF reserves only 2 file names with special meanings: index.md for directory listings and log.md for chronological updates. Inside that bundle, every normal markdown file is a concept. A concept can be a big query table, an API endpoint, a metric, a playbook, a reference page, or an abstract business idea. The path is the concept ID, so tables/orders.md becomes the concept called tables/orders. The file system becomes the first layer of identity. Each concept starts with YAML frontmatter. The only required field is type, a short human-readable string like big query table, API endpoint, metric, or playbook. Everything else is recommended or producer-defined. Title gives a display name. Description gives a one-line summary. Resource points to the underlying asset. Tags group related knowledge. Timestamp records the last meaningful change. After the frontmatter comes the body, normal markdown. This is where OKF becomes useful to both humans and agents. You can write schema tables, examples, usage notes, warnings, joins, definitions, caveats, and operational steps. The spec does not require fixed body sections, but it does recommend conventional headings like schema, examples, and citations when they apply. The second layer of structure is linking. Concepts can point to each other with ordinary markdown links. An orders table can link to customers for the join key. A metric can link to the tables it depends on. A playbook can link to the dashboard and the runbook. OKF does not force a relationship type into the link. The surrounding prose explains what the relationship means. Index files are for progressive disclosure. Instead of loading the entire bundle, a human or agent can open an index and see what is in the current directory. Log files are for history. They record chronological updates, what was created, changed, deprecated, or corrected. Together, they make a bundle navigable and reviewable over time. Citations are how OKF keeps claims attached to evidence. If a concept says a table came from a public dataset, or a metric definition came from a canonical doc, that source can appear under a citations heading. The link can point outside the bundle, or to a reference concept inside the bundle. The point is traceability. Conformance is deliberately permissive. A bundle is OKF version 0.1 conformant if every normal markdown file has parsable YAML frontmatter and every frontmatter block has a non-empty type field. Reserved index and log files follow their own structures when present. Consumers are supposed to tolerate unknown fields, unknown types, missing optional fields, and even broken links. That tolerance is also where people can misunderstand OKF. It is not trying to replace AV row, PRO to buff, Open API, database schemas, or domain-specific contracts. It references those things. It is not a query engine. It is not a storage layer. It is not a cloud service. It is the exchange format for the context around systems, the meanings, examples, relationships, and operational knowledge. A practical OKF workflow starts small. Pick one domain, like sales analytics. Create a bundle directory. Add a concept file for the dataset. One file per important table, one file for each metric, and a playbook for common incidents. Put type in every frontmatter block. Add titles, descriptions, resource links, tags, and timestamps where they help. Then write the useful human explanation in Markdown. Next, connect the bundle. Link orders to customers. Link weekly active users to the event tables and the business definition. Link the freshness playbook to the dashboard and the ingestion job. Add citations for the outside docs that support important claims. Generate index files so readers can navigate. Add a log file when the knowledge changes. Now an agent has something better than a random pile of documents. It can start at an index, inspect frontmatter to route by type, follow links only when needed, use resource fields to find the underlying asset, and read citations when a claim matters. A catalog can ingest the same files. A static viewer can visualize the same graph. A human can review the same change in a pull request. The caveat is that OKF is still early. The published spec is draft version 0.1, and early GitHub signals are just signals, not proof of broad adoption. But the problem it targets is real. Every serious agent system eventually needs durable context that can move across tools. That is why OKF is worth watching. It is not trying to be the brain of every agent. It is trying to be the file format for the knowledge those agents need. The question is simple. What part of your organization should become a bundle first? If this dive helped, subscribe to Nerdy Dives and drop a comment with the next technical topic you want us to explore.